How's it going, everybody? My name is Vortex, aka the King Pun, and welcome back to my Create Haven. Honestly, today's video, I kind of want to talk about, something I've kind of been struggling with for a while. It's struggling with perfectionism. It's a thing which I think as creatives and maybe even just as people, I think hits a lot of people more than some might like to let on. It's certainly more than I'd normally like to let on. But I feel like the best thing you can do is if something is wrong or something is not going the way you want it to, the best thing you can do is kind of talk about it. It might help you say something that maybe you hadn't realized before, or might give you some kind of unique perspective on something which maybe you wanted to turn a blind eye to begin with. And it's something that I myself have struggled with for years looking back on it. I never wanted to. I don't think anybody ever wants to. But it sometimes just happens. You're in sort of, I guess, I wouldn't call it a profession because profession makes it sound like taking it super seriously. But we are in an environment, is probably the best term to put it as, where basically there's so many people trying to do either similar things or the same thing, whatever it might be, that sometimes you just compare yourself to other people. You do. As much as the advice will always be, oh, don't compare yourself to other people, which again is solid advice, it kind of sometimes just happens. And it sucks. And me, myself, I got in my own head, I'm still kind of there to some degree, for a long time about like, oh, what should I make? What should I do? Like, because I was so worried about numbers that it made me start thinking that every video had to be perfect. Every single thing I made, not even just videos, had to be some kind of perfect. And I'm here to tell you straight, perfectionism doesn't exist. You may think it does, but nothing is ever truly perfect. It may be the best that you can produce at the time. It may be the best that you can produce at the time, but it will never be perfect. And that's a good thing. I think that's okay. Because if everybody were perfect, everybody would be the same. I think a little bit of things not being perfect is what makes people people. What makes you you. Because you will do things a different way to another person. That is literally what it means to just, be a person. Is to have your own ways, your own views, your own sort of methods of doing things. It's what makes you unique. And like I say, it's really easy to get stuck in that kind of mindset of just, it needs to be this way. It needs to be a certain way, but it really, really doesn't. I've been kind of it's kind of actually one of the main reasons why I started making videos like this. Because my brain started to thinking I need to make all these highly edited, highly, thought out, algorithm tested kind of things. And I hated that. I really hated that. I don't like kind of just, I guess, trying to be other people. I hate it. It's horrible. It's completely inauthentic. And so many other people try to do it. Like, granted, obviously, if you're trying to make money out of something like this, then yes, you may need to follow some algorithms. You may need to look into some of the data to see what would post better when and what thumbnails would work. But I think sometimes people forget that a lot of the time, especially now, that most people want connection of some kind. And when you're just making something that somebody else has either already made or you're trying to copy and be perfect, you take away that sort of human connection to something that somebody's made. And that could end up being one of your biggest selling points. So I feel like to take away something like that, it's a disservice to you as a creator, as well as it is to your viewers. But it doesn't have to be that way. sometimes you can, you know, just do things. I have a bad habit of overthinking what I'm doing. It's one of my biggest issues. And that, I think, stems from a need to try and make things perfect, to try and, I would say, kind of, I guess, prove myself. But the only person you ever need to prove yourself to is yourself. So what are you trying to prove by, you know, what am I trying to prove by thinking that way? I don't exactly know. But it's something to, you know, you can work on. If you just got to the point of enjoying what you make again, you will find things will come and flow so much easier than they probably ever have before, just because you're being yourself. You're not trying to be this perfect version of you. You are just sitting in front of a camera talking or playing a game, and maybe you're just nerding out about your favorite game. You know, anything like that. You are being yourself. And honestly, it's one of the most freeing feelings in the world to just be yourself. It's like the idea that, I mean, I think I've briefly spoke about it before, but the idea of just like having to like try to fit. I mean, I did actually have a whole video on it about fitting in. You know, trying to make yourself fit in for the sake of fitting in. It's all bullshit. You really don't want to do that because you end up hurting yourself in the end. It's not going to go the way you want it to. And you might, well, I myself sort of felt myself almost losing myself along the way. And these videos that I've been making, I know I've only made a couple of them so far, but I'm trying to keep momentum going by just making more of them. Because it's fun. I really enjoy, you know, just sort of sitting here and talking to you guys. It is a lot of fun. As much as half the time, I really don't know what to talk about. But do you need to? Like, really, that level of, again, perfectionism. Do I need to know what I'm talking about? Or do I just want people to, like, see how I'm feeling? Do I want people to try and feel something from what I'm making? Rather than, you know, give somebody something to take away with what I'm creating. Because at the end of the day, I think that's what a lot of people just want to do. Is just connect. And if I can say some weird or, you know, deep shit while playing funny block game, so be it. If I can help at least one person, that is all that matters to me. And it makes me proud of myself. Like, I can actually do something productive. You know, I have the opportunity to just make things. And that perfectionism at times can be crippling. It really can just be so in your own head. Like, it just makes you want to just stop doing whatever it is you're doing. But I promise you, you need to look past that voice. You need to find what you enjoy in what you're doing. And you need to fucking cling to it. You need to push forward. Every small step, every small thing you do, every improvement you make, every new video you make, things will change. Things will be more you if you just let them. If that doesn't even probably make sense, I might be kind of rambling at this point. But it's also because I'm partially, you know, somewhat focusing on what I'm building here as well. So it could just be where this entire video makes absolutely no sense, and I have to go back in and cut a bunch of stuff. But again, that is the beauty of something not being perfect, is I get to go and try again. You know, I don't think anybody should ever be striving to be perfect. Because to strive for perfection is to not have anything more to learn. Not have anything more to improve. Because you think you've, you know, made something that's perfect. It doesn't need to improve. But we as people are not perfect. There will always be things that we can do to better ourselves, to improve the situation we're in, to improve the things we're working on. It's kind of, I guess, funny enough, it's kind of the same way that a lot of people, you know, that do art feel. Because you start off, as I've heard so many people say, oh, I can't even draw a stickman. I can't even draw a stickman. I've heard that so many times in my life. But the thing is, if you draw stickman for a while, eventually that stickman will get better. And if you start taking in inspiration from the other things you might be doing, you'll turn that from the drawing something like a stickman into, you know, actually figuring things out and maybe even learning it anatomy along the way or something. But you will learn, you will grow, you will adapt, you will improve. And it takes a level of courage to just push through that mental blockage that, to be fair, I kind of think it's just social media kind of like pushes on people now. Is that things have to be things have to be like super high quality, super high production value. And it really doesn't. I've been seeing so many videos popping up recently of people which are doing similar to what I'm doing, where it's just you are playing a game and you are just yapping about how you're feeling at the time. And it's been such a refreshing thing to see, because not a lot of people talk about the drawbacks of doing this whole creation thing. You know, very few people actually talk about it. Because, you know, whenever you're talking about, talking to your viewers, you kind of want to, you know, inspire them. You want to try and make them feel something good about themselves or about what you're doing. But I think it is so important to also show the opposite side of that. Because otherwise you do get people which, like you say, end up getting hit by this level of, like, paralyzing perfectionism. I have, like, thrown away so many videos that I wanted to make, all because I got about 20% of the way through making something and then went, oh no, it's not good enough. I didn't think, oh, how could I improve it? Oh, what could I do? I just threw it away. I stopped because I was, I guess, scared of it not being perfect. And it happens to a lot of people. I mean, I'm sure that you can, if you guys have friends that are influence creators, whatever you want to call us, if you have friends that make things, even not necessarily like for social media, just people that make things, go and ask them about it. Go and ask them about the idea of, you know, being perfect. Do you suffer like any kind of like perfectionism? Most of them will probably turn around and say, oh, no, I'm sort of fine. But the ones that are really being truthful will be. Because I think just as creatives in the market that we're in, everybody feels it somewhere. You can work through it. I'm not saying this to like kind of be oh, you know, it's always going to be this way. But it's why I keep trying to push the mentality of, as long as you're better than the you were yesterday, that's all that should matter. Because you are happy with what you make. You are happy with those little things that you did. You don't have to try and, you know, build Rome in a day as much as, you know, Minecraft builder I would love to try. You don't have to build Rome in a day. It's going to take time. It's going to take effort. And a lot of people, I think, hear that about effort and kind of, well, I guess get scared, you know. It's a difficult thing trying to be a creator. I mean, it's a difficult thing just trying to create. Because with every creation, you try to convey a feeling. Now, if your head is so stuck in the mentality of, oh, I need to be perfect, you start to stray away from the idea of, well, exactly that, of trying to convey feeling. Because all you're doing is thinking about what would do the best, what would be the best, rather than what does this need from me to make this as best as I can make it right now. Like, as best as, like, to make me happy with it. It's something that I'm currently working on. I will try to improve these videos and go, like, this one, out of all the couple that I've done so far, it really does feel like more of a ramble, so there may be a lot more cuts in this one, we will see. But there are some days where you just can't. It feels like you can't, but I just want you guys to know, just continue trying, just keep trying. It will be tough, it's going to be rough. It comes for all of us at some point in our lives, if it isn't already. but you will make it through it as long as you've got some decent people around you and a decent sort of head on your shoulders to be able to keep trying, even if it doesn't go the way you want, even if it isn't, unquote, perfect, because perfect doesn't exist. The only perfection, unquote, that exists is that level of euphoric feeling that you get when you are happy with what you create. When you generally look at something and go, I made that. I made that and I'm very happy with it. Obviously, it's not going to be every single thing you make because, you know, sometimes quality dips, sometimes quality goes up. That's kind of just part of the job, I guess, at this point. But it's something that you, I guess, kind of come to terms with. You kind of get used to as you go. And you will get used to it. Like I say, it will take time, but you will get used to it. And when you get there, you'll realize that all these little worries you may have had before about what you were trying to make, how good you were trying to make something, don't matter as long as you make an impact on yourself and at least maybe one other person. You know? It's like, I said to myself the other day, I was looking through like the videos I had made recently, and it sort of led me to looking at a couple of comments I'd got. And I said it in the previous video, I think, but it's the fact that those small comments are genuinely enough to like push creators to continue creating. We need to create things. Just as people, we need to create because we are creative creatures. But so many people, myself included, get so hung up on the perfectionism side of things that most people won't even make. I think I saw a statistic the other day or something. I could be wrong on this, so feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. But I'm pretty sure that a good... If you actually make something, you like, say for example, you've made a YouTube video, you are technically doing better, potentially, than a good 90 to 95% of the population. Because rather than saying you wanted to make one, you made one. It didn't need to be perfect. It didn't need any of that. It just needed to be made. It needed to be made by you the way that you would make it. And I think you need to embrace that kind of mentality more of just make things because you want to, make things because it makes you feel good, make things because you want to convey a message. You know, these things that online kind of get lost for a lot of people. It's that, well, that authenticity, I guess, is kind of the way of saying it. Whoa. But yeah, again, this one very much could have been just a ramble, but I'm probably going to wrap up here as I think I've been sort of yapping for the last 20 minutes. But I'm going to thank you guys so much for watching. Please, if you take anything away from this, is genuinely don't be so hard on yourself. Kind of linking back to the first video, be kinder to yourself. Because at the end of the day, perfectionism doesn't exist. Perfect doesn't exist. Only what you make here and now is what exists. Only the things that you do here and now are what exists. So just create. Have fun with it. And I'm going to thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to keep chins up, don't let it crown fall, and I will see all of you little subjects in the next one. Take care, guys.